بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. من يهدي الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Last lesson we spoke about the ayat that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about Banu Israel and how they mentioned that their hearts were wrapped and closed, that they couldn't receive any of the ayat of the Quran. Those, of course, for the Jews that they supposed to live with the Prophet ﷺ in Al-Madinah. They told him that our hearts are wrapped, and so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that in Quran and say, but in fact Allah has cursed them. لعنهم الله بكفرهم. Allah has cursed them for their disbelief. فقليلا ما يؤمنون, so little that they believe. And Allah mentioned that in Ayah 89, وَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ كِتَابٌ مِّنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ, when it came to them a book from Allah, which is the Quran, confirming of what they have from the Torah, that they were before use this book, the Torah, to يَسْتَفْتِحُونَ. Well, يَسْتَفْتِحُونَ is to pray for the victory on the disbelievers by mentioning to them that this is a time for the final prophet, and when this prophet will come, we will follow him and we will fight you at that time. And we mentioned that when they know that or they think that the prophet will come from them, from Banu Israel. So when they found that the Prophet ﷺ came from the Arabs, they started to became very jealous, and they denied his message and denied the Quran. That's why Allah is mentioning that. فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ مَا عَرَفُوا, and when there came to them that which is they recognized, they disbelieved. كفروا به فلعنة الله على الكافرين. And we mentioned ayah 90 that بئس ما اشتروا به أنفسهم, this is how wretched is that for which they sold themselves. And we mentioned here اشتروا, the word اشتروا means here to sell, and in other ayat it means to buy. And we mentioned this is the importance of to follow the tafsir in Arabic language. So here بئس ما اشتروا in ayah 90 means sold themselves, that they disbelieve by what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down. Baghyan, which means that the envy or jealous that Allah sent down his favor whom he wills from among his servants. فباءوا بغضب على غضب, they returned having, باءوا means return, having earned wrath upon wrath. وَلِلْكَافِرِينَ عَذَابٌ مُهِينٌ, and for the disbeliever is a humiliating punishment. This is what we mentioned last time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in ayah 91 is mentioning again from the characters of those Banu Israel, or the children of Israel. When the Prophet ﷺ is telling them to believe, or of what being sent down by Allah, to believe in Quran, they mentioned what? وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ آمِنُوا, and if it was mentioned to them, believe, بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ, of what Allah has sent down, قَالُوا, they mentioned, نُؤْمِنُ, we believe, بِمَا أُنزِلَ عَلَيْنَا, what being sent down on us. What sent down on them? Who knows?
The Torah.
Excellent. So the book that sent down on them is the Torah. So they say we believe only of what been revealed to us. وَيَكْفُرُونَ بِمَا وَرَاءَهُ, and they will disbelieve in what came after it. بِمَا وَرَاءَهُ means what came after the Torah, which means that they disbelieve or deny the Bible and the Injil, and they deny the Quran. So they just believe in their Torah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned وَهُوَ الْحَقِّ. وَهُوَ الْحَقِّ means that this is the truth. And it is the truth. The Quran is the truth. مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا مَعَهُمْ, confirming of what they have. Confirming of that what they have in the Torah, because we will see that many of the Torah will be Torah teachings being mentioned in the Quran, from the morals, from the good conduct, from the how to treating people in a kind way. All these things mentioned in Torah, mentioned also in the Quran. That's why Allah is mentioning مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا مَعَهُمْ, confirming of what they have. So the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling his prophet to reply on that by telling them that in your Torah you shouldn't kill someone without without right. Yani in the Torah teaching, no one should kill another one except if he committed a crime or he killed someone. That's why you will take the revenge or al-qasas. But otherwise, you are not justified to kill any innocent person. So that's why Allah mentioned here to his Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام قل, يعني say to them يا محمد فلم تقتلون أنبياء الله من قبل. So tell them, then why did you kill the prophets of Allah before? إن كنتم مؤمنين, if you were indeed believers. We remember that a lot of prophets came to Banu Israel and a lot of them being killed by them. So now when the Prophet is inviting them to Islam and to Quran, they reply that they only believe in Torah and they are not believing in anything after that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling his Prophet to answer them by telling them that the Quran is confirming of what you have in your Torah. And if you really believe in your Torah mentioning not kill innocent people. Do not kill people who didn't harm you or didn't kill someone. So why you are killing your prophets? If you think and you are believers and you are believing in what you have from the Torah, why you are killing your prophets if you were believers? And then in Ayah 92, a continuation that the Prophet ﷺ will continue speaking to them by telling them, وَلَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ مُوسَى. And remember when Musa brought you clear evidence, بالبينات. Al-bayinat is the clear evidence or proof. Whether this clear evidence, usually it is a miracles that happened. Many miracles happened with Prophet Moses. So the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam is reminding the Jews by their grandfathers. And we mentioned that when the ayat is talking to you as the Jews in front of him, he's speaking about their grandfathers that they lived with the Prophet Moses alayhi salam. That's why the speech came جاءكم, يعني came to you. It's actually not came to them. The Prophet Moses came to their grandfathers. So it is a type of linguistic technique which make you remember what their fathers did with Prophet Moses. وَلَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ مُوسَى بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ. Remember when Musa came to your grandfathers with the clear miracles and proofs. ثُمَّ اتَّخَذْتُمْ, and after you saw the miracles, what happened? You took the calf al-ajl min ba'dihi. We mentioned that they took the calf as an idol and they worshipped it. And we mentioned about this story before that one of them, his name is As-Samarei. As-Samarei, he actually took the chance with absence of the Prophet Moses during 40 nights when Prophet Moses went to take the teachings of the Torah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he got benefit of that time by taking their golds, the golds of their women, and they melted this gold and made this golden statue of calf, and he designed it at a way that the air is coming from the mouth and is coming out from him to make a sound. So when the air and the wind is come, it makes a sound as if this idol or statue is making sound. And he deceived by this way Banu Israel. They started to worship this calf. Prophet Moses' brother Harun alayhi salam tried to advise them, but actually they also having the attempt to kill him. They had the attempt to kill Prophet Moses' brother Harun. That's why when Prophet Moses came back, he asked his brother Harun, why you left them to worship this calf, and you know this is a wrong, this is not a proper way. He told him that they were not afraid from me. They found me not strong like you. We know that Prophet Moses was very strong to the degree, and we mentioned that he by fault he just pushed someone, and this one was killed in Egypt when he was in Egypt. So he was strong. He has a good body build. That's why one of the causes that Banu Israel was obeying him, that they were afraid. They were afraid from him. So when he came back and told his brother why you didn't stop them, his brother Harun told him that I tried and advised them, but I'm not so strong like you. So they were approaching to kill me. They were approaching, they very near to kill me. That's why. So here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling again, remember when you have you saw the miracles with Moses, and after that you took the calf. After that, وَأَنْتُمْ ظَالِمُونَ. وَأَنْتُمْ ظَالِمُونَ يعني you were wrongdoers at that time. Okay, clear up till now?
Mhm.
Ayah 93. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to the Jews in the Medina by reminding them of what their grandfathers did with Prophet Moses. وَإِذْ أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَكُمْ. Remember when we took your covenant. And what is here the covenant stand for what? ميثاقكم, covenant. What is mean of covenant? Stands for what, the covenant? Anyone knows?
To believe in Allah.
The covenant is the mithaq or the ahd. When you see these words, it means that it is the teachings of the Torah. Teaching of the Torah is the mithaq or the ahd, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down for them these teachings to and they, at that time when Prophet Moses told them about this teaching, they agreed to obey. They agreed to obey and come with all these teachings and do it. So Allah, when He telling him, remember when you agreed to obey my orders and my teaching, this is mithaqakum. So akhadna mithaqakum means to obey, to carry on my orders and my teachings, that is the teachings that came in the Torah. وَرَفَعْنَا فَوْقَكُمُ الطُّورِ. فَوْقَكُمُ الطُّورِ here means that remember when we raised the mountain over you. رَفَعْنَا فَوْقَكُمُ الطُّورِ. Remember that when we mentioned before, Prophet Moses told them to enter Jerusalem or Al-Quds, and they refused to prostrate. He told them to prostrate and to say hitta. وَقُولُوا hitta means to remove our burden, the burden of our sins. So they didn't prostrate at first, and it was what happened that Allah raised the Tur of mountain, the mountain of Tur, on them. They were very afraid. They suddenly found that the mountain raised above them, like the clouds above them. So they were very afraid, and they prostrated at that time. And even if these, when they prostrated, they didn't prostrate on their forehead. What happened that they prostrated on one side of their face, so that they can see what will happen to the mountain. It will fall on them or not. Even the prostration was not performed in a way. So Allah is reminding them of these events. ورفعنا فوقكم الطور. خذوا ما آتيناكم بقوة means that take what we gave you with strength. What is the meaning of this? The strength here, أو بقوة. بقوة means strength that you should be actively and will to do all my teachings and all my orders. In other ayat, Allah is mentioning خذ الكتاب بقوة to Musa also, but Surah Al-A'raf. Allah telling him خذ الكتاب بقوة, which means take the orders in this book and do it actively. Do it as much as you can. بقوة. واسمعوا, and listen. Listen to what in these teachings and what Allah wanted from you. قالوا, what happened after that, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down the Torah for them and ordered them to take it strongly and to listen of what came in it? They mentioned قالوا سمعنا, we listened, وعصينا, we hear and disobey. This is what they mentioned. We hear and disobey. وأشربوا في قلوبهم العجل. The word أشربوا means they absorbed. Their heart absorbed the disbelieving. والعياذ بالله. You know, when you have, what I can say, for example, if you have like this type of stain, you have a stain, you know, those stain that we are using to change the color of our hair, sometime our hair color, you know, this stain, okay? You know
The
it,
dye.
of course.
Yes,
Dye,
yes.
yes, the dye. What happened to change the color of your hair, for example? What should you do? You should put this dye and leave it, right? Leave it for 2 or 3 hours or half an hour, whatever يعني the time, right?
Mm.
What will happen during this half an hour or 1 hour? The color of the hair changed. How the color of the hair changed? Because actually the hair follicles absorbed the dye, So that's why the color, if it is a white, for example, it will be changed to yellow or to brown or to red or whatever, right? So this process called ushribu. Ushribu means to really absorbing to the degree that the original state is disappeared, which means that their heart been absorbing the disbelieving. خلاص, they became fully disbelievers. والعياذ بالله. There is no place for iman. There is no place for the faith in their heart because their heart fully absorbed the disbelieving. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here, وَأُشْرِبُوا فِي قُلُوبِهِمُ الْعِجْلَ بِكُفْرِهِمْ, their heart absorbed the worship of the calf because of their disbelief. They fully believed in the calf as an idol and as a Lord to be worshipped other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah is telling them, قُل, يعني say to them, Ya Muhammad, قُل, بئس ما, how wretched, يأمركم به, is your faith enjoins you, يأمركم, enjoins you, upon you, إيمانكم, يأمركم به إيمانكم. So how wretched is that which is your faith enjoins upon you, إن كنتم مؤمنين, if you really are believers. Here the reply of what? All these reply what we are what being mentioned now in ayah 93 and in ayah 92 and in the last part of ayah 91 is the reply of what they mentioned at the beginning of ayah 91 when they say نؤمن بما أنزل علينا, we believe in Torah. This word that they mentioned, we believe in Torah and we disbelieve of any other things coming after that. All these ayat we mentioned is the reply to this statement. the reply of this statement they mentioned, that we believe only in Torah. So Allah started to tell his prophet, قُلْ فَلِمَ تَقْتُلُونَ أَنْبِيَاءَ. So why you, in your Torah, there is no killing for innocent people. Why you killed your prophet? This is number one. Why you killed your prophet if you were really believers, in kuntum mu'minin. Number two, Moses came to you with the clear evidence and clear miracles. So why you took the calf after him and you were wrongdoers at that? So this is another number two from the reply of their believers, how they are believers and they took the calf to worship. In Torah, the Torah they believe in, there is no worshipping of calf. So the second thing they did, that they worship the calf, although it's not present in the Torah. Number three, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you this Torah with the teaching, and you took your covenants to obey him and to do this teaching with the strength and to listen of every word came in Torah. What you did, you mentioned we hear and disobey. This is number three. We hear and disobey, and your hearts being absorbed with that disbelieving by your worshipping to the calf. So the final comment about that issue, قُلْ بِئْسَ مَا يَأْمُرُكُمْ. Say to them, Ya Muhammad, how wretched is your iman. Where is here your iman? What they mentioned at the beginning of the ayat, نُؤْمِنُ بِمَا أُنزِلَ عَلَيْنَا. We believe only on Torah. So they mentioned we believe only on Torah. So in Torah, don't kill, you killed. In Torah, worship only Allah, you worship the calf. On Torah, you have to take the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do it. You say we hear and disobey. So this is a way of mocking. The last part of ayah 93 is a mocking from them. What's your faith? What you did from the faith? What you did from what you have in your Torah? You did nothing. You just say, we just believe. You are not believing, actually. That's why the end of the ayah is coming in kuntum mu'minin. So how wretched is your faith is enjoined upon you if you were believers. Because actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in those ayat, he detailed their actions, that their actions has nothing to do with believing, has nothing to do with Torah, has nothing to do of what they are saying. They are liars. They are liars. They are not saying the truth. They just wanted to deny the message of the Prophet and the Quran only by a false type of justification. It's all false justification. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. سبحانك الله بحمدك لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Any questions in those ayat?
Yeah, well, I just want to know, when did they say we hear and disobey? Who did they say? Did they say that to Musa alayhi salam when the mountain was raised on them?
No, actually, when the mountain raised on them, they were afraid at that time, and they were obliged to prostrate. But here, you can say when. I can't tell you exactly when, but we can feel that with all the events and happens between them and Prophet Moses, starting from we want to eat, we want to drink, about the slaughtering of the cow, how they were not obeying. And you can feel this disobeying by many events happen. You cannot say that they came to him frankly, face to face, and told him, we will not obey you. They didn't do that. But their behavior, along what we took from the previous ayat, you can feel that, right?
Yes.
So this is a way that we can feel that they didn't obey by their bad behavior. But I cannot say, I don't know, that there is a specific event that they mentioned to him that we will not obey you.
No, I understand.
Yeah. Any other question? Okay, Jazakumullahu khairan, and may Allah bless you. Alhamdulillah, we